So let's start with what your specific situation was, Theresa, if you can just share what you were going through when we first met.
I had just left my job and was kind of not sure what I wanted to do as my next step for my career. I wasn't sure, do I want to stay in the same industry or do I want to move to a different industry or even different countries? So it was mainly, I think that was the main reason, kind of in a bit of an in-between moment, and just, we had a lot of questions that I wanted answering.
And I would say there was a moment just before you signed up to work with me where you hesitated. But what made you say, okay, I'm in?
I I I hesitated because I guess sometimes you just don't know whether or not it's going to be um, you know, to be very honest, if it's going to
Yeah,
be legit, if it's going to be
exactly.
something that I'm going to get something out of, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of things to say about
Yeah.
a lot of things. And then it's just a little bit like, just chat. And so I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be beneficial for me. And so that was what my hesitation was around. And in the end, I just thought, honestly, I had nothing to lose. And it was like also a bit counterintuitive, because I felt like, gosh, I'm not working, so I'm not making money, and then having to spend on something like this, like it's a bit, like, should I spend? Maybe I should save, maybe I shouldn't spend on something like this, because it feels like a luxury. But I don't know, there was just something inside of me that felt like I can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So, if I just need to just jump into this and see where it takes me. And yeah, that's kind of how it went.
Good. So how would you describe your breakthroughs that you had in the time we had together?
I thought that they were quite, it was interesting how gradual it was. Like obviously we had a few sessions where it was very eye-opening, and we talked about different things, like um and, and but many or often it would be, we would talk about stuff and then you would leave me with snippets, and then it's just funny how then the rest of the week, or until I saw you next, it was kind of like, oh yeah, this came up and that came up, and then different things would actually unfold. And yeah, I think that was the most intriguing part of it, is that it just happened so naturally. And I remember at one point, I was thinking to myself, I don't really see
Mm.
where I'm going to end up or how it's going to change,
Yeah.
which was quite surprising. That then in the end, it kind of all came together.
Yeah. Yeah. And what for you was the clarity that you have now that maybe you didn't have at the start?
Um, um, the belief in myself, and that the answers are within me, and that I already know what's best for me. And yeah, I think it's very common. Of course, everyone doubts themselves occasionally, but it's yeah, for me that was the thing. There was a lot of self-doubt at the
Yeah.
start,
Yes.
and it just became a lot more clear that, and also having peace with, that different chapters of life will open and close, and it's okay, and just being, yeah, just also just more at ease in general, that what is for me will come to me, and what is not will leave. So yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say to somebody else then that was like they were where you were at the beginning?
I would say that um I would say that you never know what you can get out of it.
Mm.
And even if you can get out like maybe 30 or 40% of what, your goal is, or whatever it is, that's already better than where you started off.
Mm.
And yeah, and I really think that there's just nothing to lose, and everything to gain. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Can you tell me, like, what would you say that you would appreciate about me that others may not see that haven't had to work as closely with me before?
Um, what was the first question? Sorry.
What would you say that you would appreciate about me that others may not see if they hadn't worked as closely with me before?
Um, I just really appreciate that you call me out on my bullshit, which I thought was just amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, or like things like I remember it was quite early on. You said like, "Oh, that's your conditioning talking," and I thought that that was brilliant because I think most people would just be like, "Oh," or like go around it, and it was just very very clear, and I appreciate that
Yeah.
very much that you were just very clear, like, no, I can feel or sense or whatever it is and how you do it, that that's not the truth. And obviously there's a lot of talk and chitter chatter that comes from a place of conditioning, and that you can see right through that and it'd be like, no, I love that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, because we all have it. We all have these beliefs and these limitations that we put on ourselves that literally have to be removed for us to move forward. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that.